it's just Landa.
Landa?
Yeah.
Like Finn Landa?
Like, it's like, you know Landau? Robert Landau, or I'm sorry, not Robert Landau, Martin Landau. It's just Landau.
I'm still trying to get over the whole, I say literally.
Literally.
Literally instead of literally or literal.
So you say it the English way, literally.
Yeah, just to save myself and my girlfriend. So just tell everybody what you've done so far and what you're most famous for.
Well, a couple more recent roles would be Annie in Attack on Titan. So that was pretty exciting, which is why I freaked out over your jacket. Let's see. More recently, Annie Attack on Titan. The character 1 in Drakengard 3, which is the new Square Enix game. Let's see. Lychee Fei Ling in the Blaze Blue fighting game franchise. Kasumi in Dead or Alive 5. Kyoko Sakura in Madoka Magica, or what is the full title again, lady? No, full title, right? Koila something. Either way, it's Madoka Magica. And Boy Boy in the anime film Redline. And actually, I take that back. Most recently, as of not even joking, 2 days ago, I announced that I will be playing Ain, or Ain, I think her name is Ain, in the One Piece movie. One Piece Film Z. So a lot of others, but those are the big ones. So.
I also see here that you've been working on Soul Calibur 4.
5, yes. It was Jan Leisha in Soul Calibur 5.
So you're doing a lot of these experiences through video games and stuff? And how does that work out for you? Is that, like, do they give you a set amount of sound effects to make, or
well, how it works is you go into the studio and once you're cast and you have a script in front of you, and you basically read off the script. And most of the time they will save the fighting reactions or noises until the end. And I have to apologize for my nasalness right now. I'm just fighting a cold. I usually don't sound this terrible, so I apologize if I keep sniffling and coughing.
it's just an added feature, that's all.
There you go, added feature. She gets sick. What?
Any upcomings that you should know about?
Upcomings. Well, probably the One Piece movie. That's not upcoming, we already recorded it, but that is my most recent announcement, and I'm really excited to have joined the One Piece cast for that. So, she's only in the movie right now, so hopefully she'll be coming into the series at some point. But she is she's an assistant or kind of a sidekick to the main villain of the story. So she is important, sort of, but not one of the lead characters. I'm happy to have joined it. It was a very, very good movie as far as I'm concerned. So.
Well, I have one more question before we open it up to questions. Do you own any of your characters' action figures? And do you play with them?
No. I really need to get some though.
Kind of fun, right?
I'd be very
You can do the voices too, no?
Absolutely, and it'd be really weird. I could actually make a little miniature indie film
Yeah.
if I wanted to. No, I actually was just talking about that last night. I've been meaning to find more action figures. The problem is that a lot of them are so expensive. So, but yeah, definitely I need to find some more action figures. There's way too many of them.
So that's for everybody out here, so find any action figures.
Yeah, please.
We'll open up questions now. What do we got time?
About 8 minutes.
Great. Questions?
Yes, sir. Oh,
You want to? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, please, yes, sir.
What originally drew you to voice acting?
Well, my father used to work for Disney a long time ago. He's now retired since then, but when I was little, he would always bring me into the booth with him. That's when the interest sparked, I guess, in doing something within that area. And then when I was older, about maybe 6 or 7, I got into stage acting. And I always wanted to be an actress my entire life. I always wanted to be a little diva, which I'm actually not. But either way, I got into stage productions when I was little, and I did that throughout my entire life. And when I got to college, I took a voice and diction class, which was being taught by my friend Peggy O'Neill, who is another voice actress, and she's known for shows such as Wolf's Rain, Scrapped Princess, Digimon, a lot of big titles. And she suggested, well, why don't you try this if you have an interest in it? Because growing up, I was an anime fan. So that's definitely something that I thought about doing. And so she suggested that I take a workshop, and workshop specifically for voiceover. And I decided to take that workshop. And my good friend Tony Oliver was the one that was hosting or teaching it. And he suggested that I do this professionally, and I said, sure, well, I don't know how to do that professionally. He said, well, I'm gonna put you on an auditioning list and we'll see where it goes from there. So 3 months later, I was cast in the show Magical Girl, Lyrical Monaha, and that was about 6 or 7 years ago. So that's how it goes. Yes, sir.
When you're doing the voice acting, are you the type that just talks in the microphone, or do you get really animated and into character in front of the microphone?
Well, in order for the character to actually go through, you do have to get into character. So, but the problem with that is we do get pretty physical when being in character. The problem with that is you can't be too physical because the mic will pick it up. So it actually is very restricting to the point of where if the character is, let's say, spinning really, really fast, we can't do the same thing because otherwise the mic will pick that up. So we just have to sound like we're spinning really, really fast. So it's a bit, that's where it gets a bit difficult.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What was your favorite role and what was your favorite character that you voiced act?
Well, there have been several, and every time I have a new character, I love them even more. But I do have a few. Right now, it's a total cop-out. I'm very, very excited about Annie. I'm going to rock out to that ringtone. Right now, it's Annie, because she's part of such a huge show of Attack on Titan. And not only is it a huge show, it's a phenomenal show. I love the show very much. I have not read past where the show ends. I've only seen the show. But no, Annie is definitely one of my favorites right now because it's not usually what I play. Most of the time I play the older, sultry, sexy women, or I play the younger girls like in the 11, 12, 13 area. So this was definitely different because she's very emotionless, very cold, and then she has a bit of a past. So, is anybody here familiar with Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Oh, wow, everybody. So yeah, there's a lot of fun to that character, so I was very excited about that. Light Chi Fei Ling from Blaze Blue is also a favorite because I've been playing her for about 4 or 5 years, so she's definitely very close to my heart. I happened to fall in love with the anime film Redline, which I was also in. My character was relatively small in that film, but I still love being a part of that, so she's definitely one of my favorites as well.
Older, sexy.
Yes, very much so. Pink, big boobs, everything. Hello.
Before you started doing your role on Attack on Titan, did you know anything about the show or the series?
Well, I knew how big it was. I knew how big the show was because I saw everybody on Facebook posting about it. Attack on Titan, oh my god, this is really good, all that fun stuff. I had no idea about the show, what it was about, nothing, because for some reason, I just decided not to look into it until I got an audition for it. And even then, I still didn't watch the show until after my first recording session. And the funny story behind that is Mike McFarlane, who is the voice director, as well as the voice of John Kirstein in the anime dub, in the English dub, he called me to let me know I was cast as Annie. And at the time, I was driving around Sherman Oaks trying to find black lipstick. Why is that significant? Because I was supposed to model that night as Death from the Sandman comics for a friend of mine. Just a little fun. Anyway, so I'm looking around for parking, and Mike McFarlane calls me and says, well, so the casting directors decided that we want you as Annie. And again, I had not seen the show at that point. So my first reaction is, oh, cool. That's it. And he says, have you seen the show? Are you familiar with the show? I said, not at all. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's really good. And he said, well, here's the thing about Annie. She starts off as a side character, but later in the show, she gets bigger. You guys get it, right? Okay. So either way, I just thought that was really funny. But then after the first recording session is when I finally started watching it. And at first, Mike and I decided that I would only watch it until episode 13, because after episode 13, that's when spoilers start to happen, even more spoilers. So I said, okay, well that shouldn't be too hard. That shouldn't be too hard to stop at episode 13, and it wasn't. If you've seen the show, you know that you can't stop after episode 1. So I started episode 1 and I continued on, and then finally when I got to episode 13, I texted Mike and I said, I don't think I can stop. I have to continue. And he said, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead, because you're getting the same reaction that the audience received when they first saw it. So when I did see it, I fell in love with the show. I was tickled pink after what happens and all of that. So I was very, very excited about that. But now I am familiar with the show. I just haven't read past that. Yes.
Sorry, we are pressed for time. We have to wrap up pretty quickly.
Oh,
So
no.
this,
Okay.
this might be the last question.
Yes.
Is there a character or a role that you really like to play? Like in something that's coming out or in something that's already been made?
Well, I'm a huge Batman fan, so I would love to play either Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, or Catwoman. Those are 3 characters that I've loved my entire life. So, and I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but that's why you have to come to my panels to ask me
Yep.
questions.
Titan Talk panel is happening today.
Yes, 6 to 7 o'clock, I believe.
Panel room 2.
Panel room 2, and I believe there's also a women in voice acting panel tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
And, oh, my handler Lillian actually has my schedule for that.
She'll be doing pardon me, wow. We also have autographs today, too.
I do.
Yes.
What time is that?
That is at 1 p.m. on City Side,
City Side autographs 1 to 2 o'clock or 1 to 1:30?
1 to 2.
1 to 2.
And straight from, right after that is the voice acting panel that you're going to be doing in Panel 1.
Panel room 1, voice acting panel 2?
Yes.
Okay. So please come by and ask me more questions. I would be happy to just sit and chat. So thank you everybody for coming. Thank you.